Okay, folks, today we play the solo version of 51st State, the Master Set, with the New Era expansion. And it was a fun game. It really was. I enjoy 51st State. I even like the original version of it. Now, the difference between this version and the original version of it, like I said during the gameplay, is the Law of 3 is no longer. Before you had this Law of 3, like I was saying, where you could only have 3 deals at any time. Certain things like where you could store stuff, most of them you can only have 3 of that on there. You can only use the action of a card 3 times. There was also these leaders or bosses. I think they were leaders, which had special abilities. They're no longer in the game, but you can only use them 3 times. So the old version kind of forced you to constantly rebuild. Yeah. This does still let you rebuild, and you still get a point like you did in the old version, but that Law of 3 is gone. They streamlined the rules a little bit. The rule book is 100 times better than the original version rule book was, as Portal is getting better with their rule books. I think a lot of it had to do with them being Polish, not native English speakers. You know, there's some stuff lost in translation and things like that, but in general, the rule books are getting 100 times better. As for the game, this is a cool game, just like Imperial Settlers, where you start off trying to, slowly build your engine, and then at some point you're going to switch over and focus on getting points. Now, if you like Imperial Settlers, I believe you'll like this. I like this one better. I like the theme better. I also like that it's not a finite amount of rounds that you're playing with this. This one, you're playing against the players, and it's whoever gets to 25 first, it'll trigger the end of the game, and then, you got to try and get as many points as you can to beat that player. Whereas Imperial Settlers, at the 5 rounds, it's whoever won. Where, this could be up in 3 or 4 rounds if you're real good, or, it could take longer. It depends on how well you are playing and how far you get up the score track. I like the theme of it better, too. I like the post-apocalyptic. I like the new world that they have in 51st State. Having a tough time with that word today. Imperial Settlers, the theme's nice and all, cute and all, but I enjoy this world better. And it's not only this game; it's the Niroshima world, where Niroshima Hex was part of this convoy, 51st State, and a few others. So I like that world better. Not that there's anything wrong with Imperial Settlers. There's not. I like that this has more interaction than Imperial Settlers. You really didn't see that in the solo play because there's not that. But when you're playing multiplayer, you can raise another player's board. It's costly, but you can do that if you want to. You can also go there to get resources if you need to during the open production cards. With the open production cards, it'll cost you a worker, and they'll gain a worker, but you'll get the resource if you absolutely need it. And then there's cards in there that'll let you do certain things. Like the one I had, which let me spend a guy, I think it was, and a resource, and then I can steal a resource from the other players or something to that effect. There's not a ton of that in Imperial Settlers, the base game that I remember. Now, like I was saying during the video, I never played New Era or Winter. They were phasing out. I was lucky enough to get 51st State at a local game store that it was just sitting there before it went out of print. So I grabbed that. I was lucky enough to do that, but I never played the other 2 expansions. And this is the first time I've ever seen the cards in the New Era expansion. Fortunately, there wasn't a lot of them shown. It's just the luck of the draw, which, if you don't like that, then this isn't a game for you. If you don't like the luck of the draw and the randomness, this is not going to be a game for you. But, from what I've seen, some of them were more hyped up resources, like the hangar here. During the production, you gain a gas and a universal token. The courthouse, during production, you get a brick and a universal token. The labor camp here, as an action, you can spend 1 worker to get 2. So it's a little bit more hyped up than the base game. This, like I said, this is the first time I played it. I never read cards in a new game that I get ever. I'll look at maybe 1 or 2 to get the layout of the card down, but I'd rather be surprised at what the cards do than go flip through every card. It's just me. So I'm looking forward to actually playing this a little more. I have yet to get this game to the table with Jen. I have played it with other players, just not Jen herself. So I'm interested to see how much she likes or dislikes the game. But as far as the solo version itself, obviously I'd rather play with other people. But if I only had to play this with myself, I think it's worth the money. It's with the solo version, you're really playing against yourself. You're trying to figure out. Every round he's going to get 2 points for the contact token, the contact cards. Every round that he's going to attack you 3 times. So, in your head, you're going, do I build this building now and hope it doesn't get destroyed? Do I hold off? Is this worth building and then getting destroyed? Is it so important I should wait till he's done his 3 times and then lay it down? Do I buy the contact card just because it's 2 points that he will not get? He or she, I keep saying hey. Stuff like that. So it's really, you're challenging yourself to an extent. And then, with the randomness cards, you never know what they're going to draw as far as which buildings they're going to destroy or which cards that they'll get that you really want it, production wise or action wise or feature wise. So that's really an interesting take on the game. Like I said, I hit it on the rule book. Really well done, really clear to understand. The only thing, like I said, was the actions here. In the rule book, it doesn't really make it clear that you could take each one of these actions one time. It kind of makes it seem like you can only take one of the 3. The first time I brought it out at Beer Mongers, I didn't really go. I kind of read the rule book, but it was a few weeks before. I couldn't remember that aspect, and people took it as we went to the rule book, and people took it as it was explained in the rule book, and I kept saying I don't think that's right. And we finally looked up Rodney's video, and sure enough, it was. I remember from the original version that you would take it. Well, no, it wasn't even that. The original version was even a little different with that. Like the contact cards were actually thrown out during the lookout phase. So that's actually something you could grab and put in your hand. Those actions were a little different, and I don't remember exactly how, but I remember you could do each one of them. Whether it was through the contact cards or something else. But yeah, this game it's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy it. If you have Imperial Settlers, then there's no reason to go out. It's so similar to Imperial Settlers. There's really no reason to have both unless you want both. For me, it would come down to the theme of it. Basically, that's it. They play very similarly. This one, like I said, there's a little more interaction than Imperial Settlers. Imperial Settlers, you have them faction cards that you can't touch in most cases, where this is all from one pile of cards. So there's a lot more randomness in it. But that strictly would be a call for the individual player. I'm not saying one's better than the other. For me, I like the theme better in this one. The gameplay is a lot more streamlined than the original version of 51st State, which I do like. That rule book, like I said, was tough, and I've heard that from many people. So if it's something you're interested in, check it out on the internet, and there's more videos of that, and at your local game store and whatnot, and have fun with it. Get gaming, have fun, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.